Today is a day that many Disneyland fans, as well as small business owners in the Anaheim area, have been waiting for a long time. The theme park reopening guidelines were released today by the state of California. What does this mean for Disneyland? When is Disneyland going to reopen? Buckle in, it's going to be a while. Let's dive into it. Early Tuesday afternoon, Dr. Mark Gailey announced that Disneyland can reopen, but only with a maximum capacity of 25% once they reach Tier 4. Now again, just a reminder, Tier 4 is the yellow tier, which is the least restrictive tier. At the moment, Orange County is in the substantial or red tier, which is Tier 2. In order for Disneyland to reopen, again at 25% capacity, they have to reach that yellow tier. Now, what is the yellow tier? Here's a quick refresher in case you might have missed some of our earlier videos or if you haven't been up to date on the reopening news. Now, the yellow tier or the minimal tier enables most indoor business operations to open with modifications. As far as new cases, you need to have less than one daily new case per 100,000. And as far as positive tests go, you need to have a less than 2% positive test rate. Now, like I mentioned, Orange County at the moment is in the red tier or substantial, which means that most non-essential indoor businesses are closed. It's a very restrictive tier, and now they have to move into the orange, which is the moderate, and then the yellow. So it's gonna be a while before Disneyland reopens. Now, we don't know when Disneyland exactly is gonna be open, but just based off of these qualifications, it's going to be quite a long time. Dr. Mark Gailey also said he doesn't know when California is going to move into the yellow tier, and they actually don't expect California to move into the yellow tier until possibly summer 2021, which is a number of months away. And we have already seen a significant number of layoffs come from Disney, a good chunk of them tied to the Disneyland Resort and the fact that the gates are still closed. So it'll be very interesting to see the widespread impact that these reopening guidelines create, not just only for Disney, but for the other businesses in the Anaheim area that basically run off of Disneyland traffic. There's a lot of small mom and pop shops, a lot of restaurants, small hotel chains that count on people coming to Disneyland in order to operate. So if that's going to be closed for the foreseeable future, there's going to be widespread economic impact that goes far beyond the theme parks. Now, smaller theme parks, those that have a total capacity of less than 15,000, they're able to open in the third tier, which is that orange tier, but again, at 25% capacity, and indoor attractions have to be closed. So even if Disney fell into that reopening tier, if they didn't have to wait as long to move into the yellow, most of the attractions are indoors at Disneyland and at California Adventure. So how realistic would it be for them to open under those conditions as well? It's tough to say, but the smaller theme parks get to open up a little bit sooner than Disneyland, Knott's, and Universal do as well. And as expected, we've seen this many times now, Disney wasted absolutely no time in firing back at the California government. Disney wasted no time in responding, putting out a statement from the president of the Disneyland Resort saying, "We have proven that we can responsibly reopen with science-based health and safety protocols strictly enforced at our theme park properties around the world. Nevertheless, the state of California continues to ignore this fact, instead mandating arbitrary guidelines that it knows are unworkable and that hold us to a standard vastly different from other reopened businesses and state-operated facilities. Together with our labor unions, we want to get people back to work, but these state guidelines will keep us shuttered for the foreseeable future, forcing thousands more people out of work, leading to the inevitable closure of small family-owned businesses and irreparably devastating the Anaheim and Southern California community." And it wasn't only the theme park officials that we've seen come out against these guidelines. The mayor of Anaheim put out a statement earlier today saying, "These guidelines fail working families and small businesses. As painful as this is, Disney and the city of Anaheim will survive. But too many Anaheim hotels, stores, and restaurants will not survive another year of this. Many are family businesses. The jobs they provide support other families. We can safely and responsibly open our theme parks and convention centers soon. The unions of the Disneyland Resort agree and support the reopening of the theme parks in Tier 3, not Tier 4, which would wipe out jobs in our city and destroy lives." Now, I mentioned this in a reply to a comment on our last Disneyland update video, but my own personal opinion is that the next step here is a class action lawsuit against the state of California. I think it is honestly just a matter of time before we see this. I think it's the only way that Disneyland is going to be able to open in the foreseeable future. Again, we don't know But if we're looking at summer 2021 as a possible reopening based on what the state is saying, when we could maybe move into, tier 4, I don't think Disney can wait that long. Like I said in the beginning of the video, they've already laid off tons of cast members, unfortunately, and there's going to be more to come based off of this. It's just it's kind of business 101, unfortunately. So I think the next step is a class action lawsuit. I think you're going to see Disney get together with Universal and possibly Knott's Berry Farm, although I don't necessarily know their opinion on this. I would imagine that they're not too pleased with these guidelines, but we've seen Disney put out a number of comments insinuating that the state is ignoring science and data. We've seen the same comments echoed by Universal, so I think it's just a matter of time before this happens, and I think it's just the only way that these parks are going to reopen anytime soon. Do I think they're going to reopen in 2020? We sit here at the end of October. My guess is probably not, but for the sake of saving 2021 from a financial standpoint, from an economic standpoint, I think it is the only move at this point to get Disney and the other neighboring theme parks to reopen anytime soon. Now, I'm certainly no lawyer, so I don't know all the ins and outs of what would need to go on behind the scenes in terms of filing that, or if it's even, something that they would consider doing. But based off of the tone of the statements that we've seen from Disney in response to the California government, I think it's just the next step. Disney has tried to play nice for a while. I mentioned this in our last video, but I think they've reached a breaking point. And now that these guidelines have come out, after California has went to Florida to check out their, reopening guidelines and how things are going in Florida, who, by the way, as of now, there has not been any COVID cases that have been traced back to the theme parks in Florida. I know that's kind of hard to tell, but they have all this contact tracing going on right now, and that's just the data that's out there. So with California being the only state that is not allowing theme parks to reopen as far as the major ones go, it's not a good look for the state of California, and it kind of plays into the fact that they are ignoring the science and data behind this. And I think Disney is honestly just fed up. They've tried to work with the state. Iger ended up leaving the executive board to help Newsom reopen the economy. Obviously, he knew they weren't getting anywhere. And I think the time has come for the theme parks to kind of band together, and they're going to have to battle the state here. I think things are going to get ugly for a little bit. I would be very surprised, like I said, if we don't see any sort of class action lawsuit. But again, that's just my opinion, and I think that's really the only route that these theme parks can take if they want to salvage the next few months or possibly even the next year. So there you have it, just a quick update. I know we've done a number of these Disneyland updates now, so certainly wanted to fill you in on the latest and kind of share my thoughts in terms of the reopening. I think it's going to be a long time before we see Disneyland reopen, unfortunately, which is likely going to lead to some more cuts at the Walt Disney Company. And it's just going to be a tough time over these next few months for the theme park industry. So let us know your thoughts down in the comments below about these guidelines. What do you think? I would imagine most of you are going to be against them, but let us know your thoughts down in the comments below. And as always, if you found this video helpful, make sure you give it a nice big thumbs up. It really does help out our channel. And if you guys are new here, make sure you hit that red subscribe button down below so you stay up to date on all our videos in the future. And with that being said, we'll see you guys real soon.